Well, the Arizona Diamondbacks dropped the series finale to the Chicago White Sox by a score of 7-3, and Zac Gallen continues to struggle so far in the month of June. We have more on the loss and more on how people really turned around the terrible incident with Ketel Marte from yesterday into a beautiful thing today. On today's show, don't you go anywhere. We're starting in 30 seconds. Well, welcome in to Studio K, presented by our friends at Circle K, to the PHNX Diamondbacks podcast right here at PHNX. My name is Derek Montilla, occasionally known as your mayor of PHNX, and I wish I was here on happier terms. Of course, the Diamondbacks dropped today's series finale to the Chicago White Sox by a score of 7-3, and not very great, not a very great day around here. Of course, not a good day from Zac Gallen on the mound, and another fairly unproductive day from the Diamondbacks offense. Welcome in to all of you guys. Great to see you guys here. Thank you so much for joining us today. Of course, this show is brought to you by our friends at Bet365. Go download that app of Bet365 right now and use our code of PHNX365 when you sign up. Follow some steps and you'll get some bonus bets. And of course, over at Game Time, use our code of PHNX. You'll get $20 off your first ticket purchase. Welcome in, gang. Glad to have you guys here. I got a brand new producer on the show today. I got our guy Ayrton, who I'd like to welcome to the show. And of course, he has the same initials as Alec Thomas. So for the time being, we'll call him AT around here for sure, because Alec Thomas has been doing some good things for this team, as have some of you in regards to the response from the incident yesterday. And it's weird. I don't want to dwell on this too much. But I don't really want to dwell on this game, quite frankly, at all. We still have to cover it. We still have to discuss it. And like many of you, not a great day here for the Diamondbacks. They did lose this one 7-3. Their record stands at 41-39. And in regards to this important 10-game span that they have, the Diamondbacks are 5-2 so far, with 3 more games against the Marlins at home to round out the 10-game stand. Then, much like one of my favorite video games, there's kind of an end boss at the end of the 10 games where the Diamondbacks face off against the San Francisco Giants in what is looking like being a very important series to determine the fate of the DBacks season prior to the trade deadline. But they did lose today by a score of 7-3. And of course, after yesterday's incident, we had a really nice response overall from the White Sox. As many of you know, Ketel Marte was seen being in tears, being very emotional, being consoled by Toy Lovello and his teammates over what apparently turned out to be some pretty nasty fan comments in regards to his late mother passing due to a terrible car accident back in 2017. The Chicago White Sox did ban that fan from Rate Field, and they also posted this very nice message on the scoreboard today before Ketel Marte's first at bat. For those of you listening on the audio side, it says, "Baseball is family. The White Sox community supports Ketel Marte." I think it's simple. I think it's nice. I think it's kind. And, overall, something that probably I wish didn't need to happen. I know that there are some people of the belief that baseball players, take a lot from fans. This is nothing new. But I do think that there is something to be said about drawing a line somewhere in fan conduct when it comes to the way fans verbally abuse players. And I like to see the stance that the White Sox took here. I also like to see, obviously, what kind of the response was, even honestly, from the fan himself, who apparently apologized and said that he had crossed the line and that what he said was very bad, obviously. So, but another beautiful thing came from it. We have our friend Steve Zinsmeister's tweet right here was a recent update. People have been donating to the DBacks Foundation in the name of Ketel Marte's mother. And I don't know of anything that's more beautiful that could have come from this. But Steve's latest update right there said 345 donors from 6 different countries and 30 different states have donated over $11,000 in memory of Ketel Marte's mother. If you feel so inclined, visit dbacks.com/donate to contribute. And that's wonderful. We're going to go ahead and put that in the chat and make sure that if you guys are so inclined yourself to go over there and donate, that would be wonderful. Okay, of course, like I said, it's a great way to turn something that was fairly ugly yesterday into a pretty wonderful response. But there's something kind of very good here that once again helps to restore our faith in humanity about people. But I do have one of the best people I know, one of the best persons I know, here to talk about this loss today and a little bit maybe about what happened yesterday with Ketel. It is our guy, the one and only Dalton Feely from John Boy. Dalton, get in here. Let's see his beautiful face. Dalton, are you in the shower? Are you in the middle? Did I interrupt you in the middle of a bath?
Yeah, it does give a shower vibe for sure.
Yeah.
But it is it's the producer room or whatever. I put the curtains together so no one else feel a little weird.
Hey, some of our fans wanted to not wash during a winning streak at some point, so I'm just glad to see that you're leaning in the other direction, which I appreciate very much. Yeah, right. A lot of bad things happening with this team right now, Dalton. I mean, I know today's loss is, I'm not going to overreact to it. The Diamondbacks still win the series against the White Sox. And over this, stretch that we've said is very important. They've won now both series against the weaker opponents, against the Rockies, against the White Sox. They didn't sweep either series, however, though. Does that disappoint you at all to not see the Diamondbacks pull that off during this period of time where they've kind of experienced quite a lot of catastrophe?
Yes. And I think the biggest thing is when you're on the road, it is a little bit different. Like the main saying is you want to take two-thirds of the games at excuse me. Wow, I'm lost in the sauce. You want to take 2/3 of the games on the road. Like you don't want to sweeps, whatever. That's the cherry on top. But you want to try and get 2/3 of the series, right? And ideally 3/4 or sweep, depending on the series at home. But that said, you're playing the historically bad Colorado Rockies and the Chicago White Sox, who are nearly as bad, historically bad last year. These are series that you should sweep. The D-backs are a more talented team, even without a lot of their key players due to injuries. And I think that is the one thing that we should account for is that D-backs are super banged up. They're the most banged up team in baseball right now over the last 5 days, basically losing half of their lineup. So I do understand with that being in mind, that totally understand 2/3 of the games, winning those. That's great. That's awesome on the road. But it would have been awesome to sweep, keep the streak going. I mean, they're now 14-8 in the month of June. Is that still best in the National League? Because as of yesterday, it was. So they've been competitive. They won games are above 500 again. So all of those signs are great. But bringing the brooms out in Colorado and Chicago would have been awesome.
It would have been nice. It would have been nice. And I know today the offense wasn't great. You could probably say the offense wasn't very good yesterday outside of that 7th inning. So, I mean, again, this is kind of one of those I guess, examples of how the Diamondbacks really do need their offense to carry the load the rest of the season. We have seen good performances out of guys like Ryan Nelson. We've seen some pretty good performances from Eduardo Rodriguez since returning from the IL. But Zac Gallen remains very inconsistent, and outside of one start this month, he has been flat out bad. He's been flat out bad, and like you said there, the teams that he's been bad against now are two of those teams are the White Sox and the Rockies. He's given up a ton of runs to those two teams. I really don't know what else to think about Gallen anymore. I've kind of expressed on the show before, Dalton, and how I feel kind of both ways, right? Like as a fan, as someone that watches this team, I'm frustrated. I'm confused. I'm angry. As someone that gets a chance to talk to Gallen on a personal level, I'm sad for him. I feel bad for him considering I know how important this season is, and I think how much I think about how it kind of sucks for an athlete to have a stellar run year after year, and then the year that's their most important year of their career, so that they finally get that huge payday that they've been dreaming of. this is the season that he's essentially come up very short for this team, and like it's getting to the point where the bad outings are far outnumbering the good ones.
Yeah, and you know what? As you said, it stinks because he was a top 5 Cy Young guy in 22 and 23. Like that is one of the best pitchers in baseball at the time. He was so good, and I do think, and I'm going a little bit tinfoil hat here. He threw, I think, like nearly 240 innings in 2023, and I think there is some impact there.
Yeah.
To where 2024 it lingered a little bit, where there might have been some fatigue and impacted him. This year, I will admit, for me personally, blatantly confused because I thought this was the year, contract year, make your money, young man. You deserve it. You earned it. And it's just been like horrendous. The worst among MLB and ERA among qualified starters. 8 of his last 9 starts, Derek, he's allowed 4 earned runs or more. That is the anti-quality start right there. That's crazy. Unacceptable. And it's Zac Gallen. If you told me this year, there's going to be a pitcher in the Diamondbacks who has the highest ERA among qualified starting pitchers and has allowed 4+ earned runs in 8 of 9 games, I'm saying Jordan Montgomery. I'm saying Eduardo Rodriguez. I might
literally
be saying
every pitcher in the starting rotation besides Zac Gallen. I mean, Zac Gallen's calling card was his consistency, right? He set a major league record for the most games to start a career, most starts to start a career, where he allowed 3 earned runs or less. Like that was what you knew you were going to get out of Gallen every time. It wasn't always going to be 10 strikeouts. It wasn't always going to be sexy, but you were probably going to get a quality start from Zac or close to it every time he took the mound. And now it's, like you said, it's the opposite of that. The worst ERA of qualified starters in all of Major League Baseball, and his ERA got worse today.
Yeah, which is, again, versus the White Sox, 5 earned runs and 5 1/3. That is not pretty. I'm sorry, you can't do that. And especially, It's very deflating. D-backs take a 2-0 lead with the Josh Naylor home run. Shoulder's okay. Huge news. One injury news that was massive. Right. Positive Diamondbacks, so let's go. Yeah. Proves it his first at back. How you doing? But then Zac Gallen gives him the lead right away. So you have a 2-0 lead, and then Zac Gallen, who's been struggling. It would have been nice to get a shutdown inning, have a lead, build off confidence. But no, he gives up the 2 runs, tie game 2-2, and then it obviously goes downhill where the Diamondbacks put up 1 more run the rest of the game, and Gallen doesn't do his job, sadly. And I will say, Derek, on a Major League Baseball level, not just Arizona Diamondbacks level, I have friends and coworkers in the office asking me, what does this mean for Zac Gallen? Because there's a world where if the Diamondbacks, hopefully, knock on wood, don't sell, like if they sell, sadly, Gallen was one of the prize tickets going into free agency, rental, great starting pitcher. He's now been the opposite of that. I don't know where his price range is if in the trade market. Is there a world where the Diamondbacks use a qualifying offer next year if they hold on to him? And does he accept it now because he might not get that long-term deal? There's a lot of moving pieces, but ultimately, I just want to see Zac Gallen pitch well. Plain and simple.
That's it. And I want to see him pitch well for this team. And I don't care what the result is. I don't care anything. I still believe in Gallen, and I also believe that other people believe in Zac Gallen. I believe that there are at least 10 teams in Major League Baseball right now that are thinking if Zac Gallen was on our team, he would turn it around, right? Like, because you know what he is at his core. You might really have hit a nail on the head there in regards to his usage in 2023. Absolutely, because it does feel like Gallen hasn't been the same after that. But today also wasn't a day where the offense did a ton, right? We didn't really get a great offensive performance. Again, fairly inactive. The fans at Wright Field were overwhelmingly kind to Ketel Marte after yesterday's incident. We talked a little bit about the beautiful side of this, which is fans are donating to the DBacks charity in the name of Ketel's mother. So there's that, and that's an incredible way for this to go from an ugly thing yesterday to a very positive thing today. But I want to caution this by saying this might not be a popular opinion. This might not be a good way to take this, Dalton, but maybe, just maybe, they found Ketel's weakness, which is kindness. Maybe Ketel, who was 0 for 4 today with 2 strikeouts, maybe it was just a little too much niceness at Wright Field. But I kid. I just think, obviously, there's a lot going on, a lot of noise, a lot of things with this. I'm sure Ketel Marte, at the end of the day, probably doesn't want this to become as big of an incident kind of as it's become. But what are your thoughts on kind of what transpired yesterday with this fan?
I was in disbelief. I mean, I think the whole Diamondbacks and baseball community, before any of the news came out to why Ketel was crying, was just curious to what happened, because you don't really see that
worried
often.
What happened, right?
I'm worried. Like, there was rumors that it was Ildemaro Vargas' fractured foot. He'd found out during the pitching change, and he's very close with Ildemaro, and he was very upset about that. Was there personal news? Was there any potential trade speculation? All of that, it was something said bad. Like all of the speculation was going on to why he was crying. There's a line that you just can't cross as a fan. And as you said, talking about it earlier before I hopped on, like the fan admitted that he crossed the line, but like let's use some common sense here, right? I think the biggest thing is I think you can jokingly boo and like boo, thumbs down, whatever. That's totally fine. Let's not get into people's personal lives, right? Like whatever they do outside of the lines, as long as it's not like anything illegal or crazy like that. Like that's their business, right? And so my thing is I try to be a glass half filled guy, depending on the day, and just be positive. Like root for your team, be excited about your team. Your guy makes a play, you cheer for your guy. You hit a home run, let's go, let's get pumped. No need to say the words that were said to anyone. Like that's just crazy. We've seen some of this happen more around baseball, which I do not get. They're humans, Derek. These baseball players are human beings. It's not like they're just entertainment robots here for our pleasure to enjoy sport.
I think that there's a lot of things that play into this, right? I've talked about this being like social media, where people just think that not only can they say whatever and kind of dismiss it as a joke, like I was heckling him, I was joking, I was giving him the business, right? And it's like, yeah, nah, dude, you're going way too far. And like, I don't know. And I mean, it's not just with using personal information like this. It could be your choice of language around children and other stuff like that, right? There's just times to realize that you're currently part of a community when you're at a baseball game in society, and you need to act based on certain constructs of community and society. And that's one of the things, is not shouting the most awful thing you can think of at someone simply because, one, you feel entitled to do so because you purchased a ticket, and two, because especially in baseball, these guys are just standing around right there, right? So it's like, not only sometimes when they're in the dugout, if you're so lucky to have a ticket close to the dugout, can you literally have whole conversations with baseball players, but again, like when you're in the outfield and you're kind of by a guy, I don't know if any other sport really has a player kind of by themselves, surrounded by fans, just standing around, really not doing much at times, that baseball does, right? Especially like corner outfielders and stuff like that. Like you're pretty far away from your teammates. You're pretty lonely out there, and fans can just feel stupid and empowered because of the fact that they have that kind of access to you. And it goes the same with social media, because you can @ somebody, you feel the need to go tell them what you think about them based on a play that they made or something that they did wrong in a game. And it's like that, it's just crossing a line. It's crossing a line all over the place. But and funny, it's because you are a very vocal person at baseball games. You go cheer, you scream, you love being a Diamondbacks fan as an opposing fan in New York, and you have no, like, you are the bravest person I've ever seen. But it's because, from what I've seen from you, you always do it in a fun way. And even if you are getting like booed back by other fans, or people are telling you to shut up and sit down, you tend to like just kind of smile and laugh about it. And I think that, like, I don't know, I think that those kind of interactions for me definitely are how things should be when it's, opposing fans kind of cheering and booing and sharing the same space.
Yeah. I mean, the funniest thing was when I went to the Mets Diamondbacks game this year with my coworkers, and the kids were yelling at me and booing me. Like, that was like hilarious. Like, I wasn't expecting going to the game chanting Corbin Carroll MVP MVP and then getting booed at by like 10-year-old, 12-year-old kids. And so like, play along, have a good time, make jokes, but ultimately, like, again, good spirited, have fun, enjoy the game. It's not about you. It's not, there's no point trying to get into these players' heads. Like, let them do their thing. You do your thing, have fun, enjoy a hot dog, a beer, whatever you do, root for your team. At the end of the day, just have fun. There's no need to, curse out someone or get into their personal lives, man. It's crazy. I don't understand. I just, like, it grinds my gears. I feel so bad for Ketel, because that no one should go through that. In any situation, but for it to be on a public and national level too, it's really upsetting.
One of my favorite things I've ever seen was attending a Diamondbacks game with a friend of mine that was a Mets fan. There was a guy in the stands that was using baseball savant numbers to heckle guys. And he was literally talking about them being in the bottom 10th percentile as far as defense is concerned. and yelling it at the top of his lungs. And I'm like, you, sir, get it. Like this is the way that you abuse players, is with their own stats, because there are few things that I know players hate to hear more than their own stats. No, if they're doing good or bad. So if you really want to heckle a player, but do it with kindness, tell them how good they're doing right now, and they'll think you jinxed them. I'm telling you, there are baseball players that truly believe if you tell them that they're hitting 400 in the last 6 games, they're gonna completely blow it. They're gonna lose it. But yeah, it was good stuff, man. But I appreciate you. I'm not going to let you go without asking you this, though. We have this 10-game span. Obviously, the Diamondbacks didn't pull off the sweeps against the Rockies or now the White Sox. They did win both series. They win the finale against the Toronto Blue Jays. We were looking at it as kind of a 10-game span. They have these final 3 games against the Marlins, and they could still finish up this 10-game span 8-2 if they sweep the Marlins, maybe 7-3 if they win the series, right? And it still feels like a success. They still would put them in that category for having the best record in June. Then they face a pretty tough test at the end of the month and to start July with the Giants coming here to town. And that series obviously is going to be big, but is 8-2, 7-3, is that enough in your opinion at this point to prove to the Diamondbacks front office that with all of these injuries and all of these setbacks the D-backs have had, that they're still a potential contender and that they should add to this team instead of selling away parts at the trade deadline?
I think it's tough. And this is where, remember how I said I was glass half filled before? I'm going half glass empty for a second. Because
Sure.
I know there's so many injuries and the list goes on and on and on. And it's a very tough time right now for the Diamondbacks because they're so thin, especially on the hitting side. The bench where you have like Gino in emergency break glass only situations where you're going to use him because of the swelling in his hand, among other injuries too that, they just called up Blaze Alexander for Ildemaro Vargas. It's a tough time, but you're playing the Marlins, you're playing the White Sox, you're playing the Rockies, you're playing the bottom feeders. You should be beating this team. If you've constructed a roster and have players that you think are good and solid, you should beat the bottom feeders of the league. I think it's a worse sign if they don't beat the Marlins than if they do beat the Marlins. That said, Derek, if they go and beat the Giants when they play the Giants, mindset's flipped because now you're playing against a team who's above you in the division standings, a very quality team, the best bullpen in baseball in terms of stats so far. Like that would be super impressive. I would be more ecstatic if they go and beat the Giants and take. Is it a 3-game set or a 4-game set when they play San Fran?
I believe it's a 3-game set, but I could be wrong about that, yeah.
If they take 2 of 3 versus San Fran rather than them taking 2 of 3 than the Marlins. Like if they sweep the Marlins, obviously 3 wins or 3 wins, that's awesome. But I rather 2 of 3 versus the Giants, a very quality team versus 2 and 3 Marlins.
Right.
Not as quality.
Right. And I think that's the hard thing is I think this was more about you are facing some of the worst competition essentially that you're going to see all year long over this one stretch. Like it's not – You do face bad teams here and there, and to be fair, the Diamondbacks haven't performed well against bad teams like the Pirates, like not to knock them, but the Nationals. I'm only doing that for our Nationals fan that always shows up here in the chat. But like they didn't take care of business against teams that you thought they would. They have performed better against some of the better teams in baseball. So I really feel like this was about this stretch being a chance for them to really catch up in the standings, which to be fair, they have done that. They've at least they moved themselves closer to the pack in both the wild card standings and in the division. But I'm not really worried about the division. We're going to talk about that later, but I'm more worried about the wild card right now. And I do think that the most important thing, regardless of who they win against, who they lose against, is where they are in the wild card standings when the All-Star break comes around. And I think that is going to determine it, but they can really help themselves as far as that positioning goes with winning that series against the Giants there to start off the month of July.
Hey, I mean, on me, didn't have a salad today. So once again, you can blame me for
Dalton,
that.
What are you doing? Do you even care about this team? Is that a real Serpientes jersey or is that some sort of facsimile one that you're wearing right now? What is that? Oh, I got one of those too, pal. You think you're the only one supporting Marte around here? All right.
My guy. It's a Marte party in here, baby. Let's go.
Let's go, my guy.
I know. I will have a salad on Friday. I know. I'm not doing it tomorrow. No game tomorrow. Can't do that.
Maybe eat 2. I'm just saying, maybe eat 2. Maybe a small side one and then like a dinner Caesar salad or something. But and no, Jay Cuddy says no water, no salad, just meat. I don't like that. I don't like that. We've proven that salad is a winning formula.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't want to eat a salad, so don't give him an option. He'll happily take meat over the salad.
It was a busy day, Derek. There's a couple shows, had to be prepped, had to get done, work had to get done. I wanted to treat myself. I had a little fried chicken sandwich. Oh,
all right. Well, we look, it's a long season, right? We got to pace ourselves. Sometimes you have days off, but I appreciate you, sir. Thank you so much for popping by, and thank you again for carrying the Serpientes flag there in New York for us.
Oh, it isn't forever. I keep this in the office, so that way if I need it, it's here.
Boy, yeah, you can quick change into it. Well, I appreciate it, man. Thank you so much for your time, bro.
You're the man, Derek. Appreciate you.
Thank you, man. All right. Well, he's great, even when he doesn't eat salads, but we're still going to charge him with an error, I think, maybe. Like, I don't know if we want to give him the loss, particularly Ayrton, but we might want to just charge him with an error. But what we're going to do is we're going to talk more about this loss on the other side of this break. I know you don't want to. I don't want to. Nobody wants to, but we're going to do it anyway. We're also going to give you some updates on the All-Star game before we get out of here. So make sure you don't go anywhere. You're watching the PHNX Diamondbacks show. Of course, today is a great day for Pure Edibles and their uplifting effects. It's a great way for you to forget about the Diamondbacks losing to one of the worst teams in baseball. And it's also a great way for you to maybe get some sleep tonight. It doesn't matter what you're looking for. Pure Edibles has an edible for it, and those effects are clearly listed on each tin, so there's no surprises at all as to what you're getting. Pure Edibles is a full-fledged candy company offering more than just gummies, and their gummies aren't covered all in sugar like other companies' gummies are. They also offer a wide variety of hard candies, chews, their kicks, which, as you can see there on the screen, are like their Starburst type candies. So make sure to check them out. Their effects, again, are clearly listed on each tin, and each Pure gummy is designed to be ripped or bit in half, making them easily shareable or easy to dial in your exact dose. They are a local company that started in Flagstaff, Arizona, and those beautiful little Pure edibles are made right here in Phoenix now. Go find yourself some Pure edible products from one of over 130 dispensaries across Arizona. And of course, whatever the moment, it is never ordinary at Bet365. Bet365 has 90 million users worldwide, and you might not know this, but they live stream over 780,000 events each year. They pioneered live in-game betting, and they currently offer the widest range of games and markets available for live in-game betting. So get down on it today. Of course, you can get in on the MLB early payout offer, where you are a winner if your team goes up by 5 runs or more, and that is straight bets will be marked as winners, as well as parlay selections, which will be marked as winners. So new customers right now, you can get $150 in bonus bets when you bet just $5, win or lose. All you got to do is sign up, use our code of PHNX365, deposit $10, bet $5 or more to receive $150 in bonus bets, no matter if your bet wins or loses. Bonus bets can be used on the spread, totals, players, prop, futures, and more. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Must be 21 or over and physically located in Arizona. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-NEXT-STEP, text NEXT STEP to 53342, or visit problemgambling.az.gov. Well, it is the NBA draft time, and the Suns just traded away my favorite player in the world, and I am still dealing with the reality of my favorite player in the world possibly being the reason why my team sucked, right? So I'm getting over it one day at a time, but I'll tell you what can help you out if you have wanted to be a diehard. Right now, you can get down on our Make Your Move sale during the NBA draft. It's a $36 introductory offer. We're giving you access to the best Suns coverage in the Valley for the best price ever. Get exclusive content from Papa Gerald. Be part of the Suns community online in our PHNX Discord. And of course, with the NBA draft this week and free agency here, this is a prime moment, of course, for you to join us and check out all the coverage. Do not miss out on anything when you are part of the PHNX family. You also get discounts on our events. And I think we had our guy Major in the chat asking a little earlier. He asked if tickets were still available for our takeover of the Chase Field pool. And sir, yes, I can assure you that there are some tickets left. There are very few tickets left. Major Awesome, it was right there. There are just some tickets left. So make sure if you do want to go, grab your tickets today. Of course, they include food, they include drink, they include a Diamondbacks towel, but most importantly, they include a whole lot of fun on July 3rd out there for our PHNX takeover pool party. So make sure to join us for that. More on the offense today, of course. Diamondbacks got some offense. Josh Naylor put the D-backs up early. It's at what Dalton was talking about there. They did give Zac Gallen an early lead with a 2-run bomb in the first inning. Geraldo Perdomo reached base right away on an error. It was a passed ball that allowed him on a strikeout to reach first. Interestingly enough of that, because Josh hit the home run with 2 outs and that error occurred, starting pitcher was not charged with any earned runs for that home run. Josh Naylor, that was his 10th home run of the year, 100.2 miles per hour off the bat, 361 feet to right field. I agree with what Mark says here. I'm glad Naylor's shoulder seems better. I think we all are. I think that is one thing that we could breathe a collective sigh of relief about. I know we're all still holding our breath about Gino. He looks okay. I mean, Gino is just such a wholesome, smiling source of joy that it's hard to tell if there's anything wrong with him. But Gino's hand was wrapped, and they are still, I believe, waiting on the swelling to go down so that they can have an MRI and a CT done on it. Hopefully we get similar news about Gino Suarez that we got here with Josh Naylor, where he can return to the game very soon, because the Diamondbacks need him with the way their offense is struggling right now. No Corbin Carroll, no Gino in the lineup, and it's reflecting in the end score for these games. DBacks were held to just 2 extra base hits today, including that home run by Josh Naylor. The other extra base hit was a Pavin Smith double. Pavin also reached on a fielding error in the 8th inning and eventually scored on a Lourdes Gurriel RBI single. But that was pretty much it for the day for the Diamondbacks. They had 1 run late in the 8th inning, 2 runs in the 1st inning, and a whole lot of nothing else in between. And you could definitely tell that there was a hole in the lineup missing with the bodies that aren't there, the bodies that are out due to injury. Alek Thomas, meanwhile, continues to thrive there in center field. He got Austin Slater to fly out on a nice catch where he just seemed to cover a ton of ground out there. He also was one of the only few, I guess, notable performances today, because there weren't really any notable performances today, to be honest, offensively. Alek Thomas was 1 for 3 with a walk. Meanwhile, the new catcher to the team that got the start today, James McCann, he was 1 for 3 with a walk. Interesting to contemplate how McCann, being a new catcher back there, impacted Zac Gallen today. I would love to say that was maybe a reason why Gallen was off, but unfortunately, a lot of the reasons why Gallen is off seems to be very similar to other starts that he's had prior to McCann being here. McCann also caught Lennon Sosa, who had 2 home runs today, attempting to steal in the 2nd or in the 6th. So that was nice to see a catcher throwing someone out. We haven't had a lot of that on this team this year, but got to give our king snake to somebody, and we're giving it to Nails. We're giving it to the one and only Josh Naylor and his shoulder. He was 2 for 3 today, 1 home run and 2 RBIs for Nails. So great to see Josh Naylor back in the lineup. Great to see him contributing offensively today. But unfortunately, the milk or however I say it has gone sour. It was another rough outing for Zac Gallen today. This marks 4 starts in a row where Gallen has allowed 4 earned runs or more. He allowed 5 earned runs today. And I don't know. I mean, Mark had some good theories there in the chat. He discussed the amount of vertical break that Zac Gallen's fastball currently has, stating that it has more vertical break in the last 2 years than it has previously. And that's not necessarily a good thing, considering that his complementary pitch is that knuckle curve that has a bunch of vertical break. One did not, and one knuckle curve did not vertically break enough to Lennon Sosa. That was one of the home runs that he hit today. That was in the 4th inning, and that was a knuckle curve that was just in and down from being in the middle of the plate. But Gallen's 4-seam fastball still seems to be not all there. Gallen's 4-seam maxed out today at 93.8 miles per hour. It averaged 92.6 miles per hour. He had 13 swings on it and only got 2 whiffs. So it's not really fooling anybody. He's getting a ton of hard contact. He had 9 hard hit balls of 95 mile per hour exit velo or harder off of Gallen today. The Andrew Benintendi homer was a 93 mile per hour fastball. That wasn't honestly bad. It was above the zone. It was high. Like that one's just one where you tip your cap to the batter, obviously, but the knuckle curve to Sosa was definitely just kind of hanging there in the middle of the plate. But right. And Mark R here says, if you're into those advanced stats, 4-seam is one of the only pitches where less horizontal is better for stuff. And again, it's the reason why is because the horizontal break is a natural thing for any pitch, right? For it to, as it gets closer, drop down in the zone. Typically, you find success with fastballs that rise or stay up in the zone. And that's what we're seeing from guys like Ryan Nelson. Ryan Nelson is able to keep his fastball up in the zone. He's able to keep it on the outside edge away from batters. Or inside. I mean, he can throw it wherever he wants. Meanwhile, Gallen is really struggling with his command right now, and that's the big difference. Without that fastball setting up his other pitches, and he's really not throwing his other pitches a lot. He's pretty much resorting to just throwing his fastball and his knuckle curve. He's just not fooling batters right now. His line today was 5 1/3 innings pitched, 8 hits, 5 earned runs, 1 walk, 2 strikeouts. I don't even want to make you fire it up, Ayrton. It uses far too much power and energy, but go ahead and throw on that Circle K strikeout meter because, again, we kind of have to do it, but I'm not saying it deserves to be done today. Honestly, there it is. It's probably a waste for me to even fire it up. It's probably just a complete waste of seawater and energy, much like all the AI in the world, that strikeout meter. There's a lot of energy to power that thing up, but it shouldn't be done for 2 strikeouts. I guess we can continue to ask if Zac Gallen is broken. This feels like a talking point that we've had all season long, but his ERA raises to 5.75 and continues to be the worst ERA among qualified starters. This was his 11th start of the year where he is allowed 4 earned runs or more. I talked about this being 4 starts in a row where he's allowed 4+ earned runs. But this is the 11th start out of 17 starts this season that Zac Gallen has allowed 4+ earned runs. He only has 5 starts out of 17 where he's allowed 2 earned runs or less. So there is not a good mix here between good outings and bad outings. It's not like Gallen's just inconsistent. If anything, he's consistently bad this season with rare instances of being really good. So what do we do with Zac Gallen? What are the paths that the Diamondbacks can take? Well, defining them, it seems pretty simple at this point. The first option, scenario 1, is you do nothing. Zac Gallen remains a member of the Diamondbacks. You hope that he can help you win. You hope that he can help you get things back on track. And when the end of the season comes around, you bid him adieu and you let Zac Gallen go to free agency. Now, that would be fairly stupid because scenario 2, which is the most likely scenario out of all of these, is that you do all of that. You keep Zac on this roster. You hope that he gets better. You offer him a qualifying offer at the end of the season. This goes one of 2 ways at that point. Zac Gallen, if his season continues to go this way, probably accepts that qualifying offer and makes an attempt to rejuvenate his career next season here with the Diamondbacks. He knows this team. He feels comfortable here. And maybe, just maybe, that's his shot at finally getting that big contract that an elite pitcher would get. However, the other option here is that he declines the qualifying offer and still goes to free agency. And who knows what happens with Gallen and his contract situation and beyond. But the Diamondbacks at least get a compensatory pick, which, again, this feels like the most likely scenario. But then there's also scenario 3, where you trade Zac Gallen here at the deadline. And that is based on what I said earlier, which is I believe in Zac Gallen. I'm sure many of you believe in Zac Gallen. And I'm sure that there's at least 10 people, 10 baseball teams that believe if they trade for Zac Gallen, he can be much better with a change of environment with them than he could be with the Diamondbacks. And now, believe it or not, if an offer comes across to the Diamondbacks that get you enough in return, something at this point. And that something does have to kind of be more than, because teams can't trade draft picks. So in theory, it has to be more than what you think you can get from that draft pick you would get for offering Gallen a qualifying offer at the end of the season, right? But this scenario could be best for all parties involved. Marcus in the chat says he doesn't believe in Zac Gallen. I didn't say all of you, Marcus. I said some of you. Grudy, obviously, also of that camp. He says, nah, Gallen is cooked. And I don't know. I don't know if he is or not. I think that Gallen has been good enough at times to make me believe that he's still a very good pitcher. However, I don't know if the pressure of this season and now the fact that you kind of have this mounting nightmare of a season happening, and you can't really mentally get out of it, that you don't really feel like you can be better. But I do believe that there are teams out there that think that adding Zac Gallen, no matter how bad he is, would make their starting rotation, it would improve their starting rotation, that Gallen's results would be better with them in a change of scenario. So maybe that is the best case scenario, because maybe Gallen does thrive somewhere else in a new environment. Maybe the Diamondbacks are able to pull off some sort of trade where the return is sufficient. You feel satisfied with what you got back for him, and Gallen can go somewhere else and have 2-3 months of trying to turn his season around before being a free agent, possibly re-signing with whatever team the Diamondbacks trade him to, or testing the waters and going out there and again, getting maybe trying to get a contract near what he was hoping to get. But I think the big question there is if the Diamondbacks do make any moves at the trade deadline, if they do hypothetically trade Gallen or even Merrill Kelly, because if things go really bad, maybe that's a possibility as well. Who replaces them? Who physically is a living body that pitches that can replace them? Because it's not Corbin Burns, it's not Justin Martinez, it's not AJ Puck, it's not Tommy Henry, it's not Jordan Montgomery, it's not Blake Walston, and it's not Christian Montes de Orca, because those guys are all cooked right now, and they are not going to be back for a very long time. So I don't know what you do if the Diamondbacks do trade Gallen. I mean, there's Yuman Lin, there's other prospects currently at AAA level. None of those guys are really doing well, and if you expedite their development, who knows of the impact that it could have on their career. I don't think the Diamondbacks necessarily want to do that just out of desperation to fill up a starting lineup or starting rotation for their pitching staff. So I don't know. There are some guys that are coming along in the organization, but unfortunately, it doesn't feel like any of those guys are pitchers. So again, I don't know what to do with Zac Gallen, and it still feels like that scenario 2 with the qualifying offer seems most likely. Jay Cuddy says, it's me. Get out there. If you want, don't even start talking about cooked. If you want to start talking about my arm is absolutely cooked. More so than the bullpen, who did not have a good day today. Murillo, he allowed 1 hit, which was Zac Gallen's 5th earned run to score. He gave him 2/3 of an innings pitch. Kevin Ginkel might get that Stinkle nickname back. He gave up 2 hits today, including a home run for an earned run, and so did Scott in his inning of work. So not a great day here from the Diamondbacks bullpen at all. And again, I guess whatever, the runs that Zac Gallen gave up was enough for the team not to win the game. So it's not like the bullpen holding it close really mattered. However, this was just one of those days where you feel like the Diamondbacks did not play their best baseball, did not have very good at bats, and it resulted, of course, in the outcome. And you just feel like they can't really put any team away for the S word, no matter if I say it or if I don't say it. So I think we got some super chats, or at least one super chat there. What do we got there? Mark R says, baseball. This is what I was talking about earlier. I should have brought this up. Thank you so much, Mark, for your super chat. He says, Baseball Savant says Zach's fastball breaks horizontally 1 to 1.5 inches more than the last 2 years than pre-2024. Maybe it is not tunneling well with the curve. That's just such great analysis there, Mark. If you aren't busy on Friday, maybe you can come help me plan the show and get some notes in there. I'd appreciate that. Our other guy, Jesse Friedman, currently not around. Earlier, you guys said in the chat, by the way, we were talking about heckling, and someone brought up that Piece of Yoshi here says, trying to imagine Jesse heckling is funny. It's because of Mark R's comment where he said Jesse Friedman heckling be like, your expected ERA is a whole point than your actual ERA. Yeah, that's definitely a Jesse heckle. And then everybody else is laughing at the idea of Jesse actually heckling anybody. Not in a million years. Unless it was me, Jesse would definitely heckle me. In fact, I think he has. I think Jesse secretly came to some of my wrestling shows and heckled me. But not a great day from the Diamondbacks, but in a 162 game season, let's not forget they are not going to be. What I will say is, once again, we have to keep an eye on the standings, and we are going to take a look at that as well as the numbers from this series on the other side of this break. So don't you go anywhere. You're watching the PHNX Diamondback Show. It's so hot outside. You guys that were here last night, you know we didn't have AC, and you know how miserable it can be without AC. So AC, of course, is necessary. Did you know half of your costs come from cooling and heating? With summer here, you're going to spend a lot of money on cooling. So it's a great time to go get a smart thermostat, and our friends at APS are trying to help you do so. With your APS rate plan, you can maximize comfort and convenience while minimizing your energy costs with smart thermostats. If you're on APS time of use plan, you can use your smartphone or device to automatically adjust the thermostat to take advantage of lower cost off-peak hours. Right now, APS wants to get you a smart thermostat, and if you are an APS Cool Rewards customer, you might be able to get a smart thermostat for as low as $0. If you're not sure how to install one, free installation is available at APS Marketplace. If you already have a smart thermostat at home, you can see if it's eligible to enroll in Cool Rewards. Find instant rebates, discounts, and special offers on smart thermostats, energy-efficient appliances, and more at marketplace.aps.com. Must be an APS customer and pay shipping and taxes. Other restrictions do apply. Go to marketplace.aps.com for more information. And Mint Mobile, of course, is here to help you get over your overpriced wireless plan. I don't know if you have plans for the summer, but while you're planning beach trips, barbecues, and 3-day weekends, your wireless bill should be the last thing holding you back. And of course, right now, Mint Mobile wants to help you with the coverage and speed that you're used to, but for way less money. For a limited time, Mint Mobile is offering 3 months of unlimited premium wireless service for just $15 a month. So while your friends are sweating over data overages and surprise charges, you'll be chilling, both literally and figuratively, unless you're in this office after 8 p.m. Then you definitely won't be chilling. But say goodbye to your overpriced wireless, jaw-dropping monthly bills and unexpected overages with Mint Mobile, and they are here to rescue you. Of course, check them out. You can use your phone. You can bring your phone number. No changes to you at all. Just the only change is what you're paying. So this year, skip breaking a sweat and breaking the bank. Get this new customer offer and your 3-month unlimited wireless plan for just $15 a month at mintmobile.com/Diamondbacks. That's mintmobile.com/Diamondbacks. Upfront payment of $45 required, equivalent to $15 a month. Limited time new customer offer for first 3 months only. Speeds may slow above 35 gigabytes on unlimited plan. Taxes and fees extra. See Mint Mobile for details. Well, let's take a look at the numbers from this series presented by our friends at Desert Financial Credit Union. The Diamondbacks outscored the White Sox in this series 17 to, actually, you know what? My math is bad. I gave you the wrong number. It's 17-8, not 17-9. That's on me. Diamondbacks kind of whooped them except for this final game. Home runs is correct, though. Diamondbacks out-hit the White Sox there 5-4. Runners in scoring position, Diamondbacks were 9 for 28 in this series. Meanwhile, the White Sox were just 3 for 19. Starting pitching ERA and relief pitching ERA was outstanding for the D-backs, quite frankly, in this series. The only blemish is today's start by Zac Gallen. You got 6 scoreless innings from Eduardo Rodriguez in Game 1. You got 5 innings yesterday from Ryan Nelson with 1 earned run, and then today 5 1/3 from Zach with 5 earned runs. That's good for a 3.31 ERA. Piece of Yoshi says Derek struggles to count. Yeah, but I did all this math on the ERA, so shut up. White Sox 6.75 starting pitching ERA. Diamondbacks kind of wrecked them. They didn't really have lengthy pitching performance outside of today, and they were scoreless. Relief pitching ERA there, correct. Both teams, bullpens, pretty good. 1.86 there for the Diamondbacks, pretty outstanding. Today was the only day they allowed any runs in the series. White Sox, again, also very good. They allowed 3 earned runs in Game 1, 2, and Game 2. So great performance. A lot of innings pitched here from the White Sox bullpen. 19 innings in this series from the bullpen. So they definitely picked up the slack here from the starters. And the Diamondbacks don't really do well against bullpens and bullpen games. I know they are. It's odd. They're good at scoring late and coming back. They are still one of the top offenses from the 7th inning beyond. Yet they still struggle whenever a team throws a starter at them or anything like that. So, yeah, that's definitely not great. But let's take a look at the updated standings, including our wild card standings here in the drunken orgy known as the NL West here. We have the Dodgers still sitting at the top of the division at 49-31. The Giants are currently at 44-35. They are 4.5 back in the division, and they are the only team currently in the NL West with a wild card spot. Meanwhile, the Padres sit at 43-36. They are 5.5 out of the division and 10 games out of the wild card. And then here are the D-backs, 41-39, sit 7.5 out of the division and 3.5 back in the wild card. This isn't great. And then the Rockies are also there. They exist. This isn't great, obviously, for the Diamondbacks, but I guess the silver lining here is the grouping here with the Padres and the Giants. And with games left against all the teams, a lot of games left, in fact, against the teams in the NL West, the Diamondbacks can kind of, control their own fate a little bit here and beat those teams. It's the reason why we're harping so much on how important the series with the Giants is. It's the last chance before the All-Star break for the Diamondbacks to really, make an impression here in regards to facing their division rivals in the NL West and proving that they can contend with these teams. I mean, the Giants have to be pleasantly surprised with the way this season has gone. Not only have they been much better than I think a lot of people pegged them to be, but the addition of Rafael Devers makes them a very, very dangerous team. Sean says in the chat, still time to take care of business in those head-to-head matchups. And that's really what it's all about, right? But you also have the trade deadline, which is kind of a looming literal deadline for this team. As much as you typically want to think that the Diamondbacks can go on and still continue to prove what they can do later in the season in August and September, they might not have that chance if the front office decides to be sellers when that trade deadline comes around. So a lot of things for the Diamondbacks still to prove, but they do have, the opportunity to do so. It's just, it feels like adversity keeps being laid in front of them, and you just have one thing after another that keeps going wrong for this team this year. But hopefully they can, like I said, hopefully they can galvanize here with all of this adversity, which they seem to be doing, and compete. Also, hopefully we get some of these guys back that the Diamondbacks had lost to injury, specifically Gino Suarez, who I believe continues to lead Major League Baseball in RBI. So, but we're going to talk about Gino and his quest for an All-Star Game nomination, as well as Ketel Marte, Corbin, and more on the other side of this final break. Don't you go anywhere. You're watching the PHNX Diamondback Show. I have a little trip planned this week in Ayrton to Gila River Resorts and Casinos, taking a little secret Sunday night getaway here. So, of course, I can't wait for that. Of course, you guys make sure to check out Gila River Resorts and Casinos. They have 4 locations here in the Valley. You can check any one of them out, but they have not only is it a wonderful staycation, hang out by the pool, lounge, have a great time, but also, of course, they have their sportsbook. The BetMGM Sportsbook at Gila River Resorts and Casinos is one of the best you can find, with massive screens, delicious food, some very, very comfortable chairs, and most importantly, getting that little ticket in your hand. It's a great way to have a great fun night with friends, with family. It's the ultimate place to watch and win, and place your bets and experience the excitement. Also, just check out Gila River anytime. After you're done at the sportsbook watching the event, hanging out, you can go down to the floor. They have over 4,500 slots and live table games, and you can catch all of the action there as well. So you do you at Gila River Resorts and Casinos. Visit playatgila.com for more details. And also, Shady Rays is the company. I can't stress enough how much I love my Shady Rays sunglasses, mostly because I'm a forgettable guy. No, I take that back. I'm not a forgettable guy. I'm very memorable, but I'm forgetful myself, and I lose my sunglasses all the time. I lose lots of things all the time, and I hate it. That's one of the worst parts about getting older, is not knowing where my stuff is and not knowing how I got this bruise on my arm. But with Shady Rays, I don't have to worry about it, because even when I lose my sunglasses, they have my back long after my purchase. Of course, with their lost and broken replacement plan, all I gotta do is let them know it happened again, and Shady Rays will take care of me. Of course, they also have some wonderful shades, some amazing frames that will look great on your face, and they have some amazing polarized lenses that will help protect your eyes from the sun. Also, check out their Color Rush lenses. They're amazing as well. So, and of course, if you don't love your Shady Rays, you can return them or exchange them worry-free within 30 days. Again, their customer service always has your back. We've teamed up with Shady Rays to bring you an exclusive offer. Head to shadyrays.com and use code PHNX for 35% off polarized sunglasses. Try for yourself the shades rated 5 stars by over 300,000 people. And me. I also rate them 5 stars. All right. Well, speaking of, we got Brandon Chips in the comments. He says, sucks not having either Corbs. Yeah, we used to lead the league in Corbins, and now we have no Corbins. And that sucks, because both of those guys happen to also be very good at baseball. But we do have an update for you on the All-Star Game standings, which we do not have a lot of time for the fan vote. I made my feelings very clear about the fan vote. I do not like the fan vote. I think it should be abolished. I think it should go away forever. But with phase 1 of voting ending on Thursday, let's take a look here at where the Diamondbacks stand. I think we have here first, what is this? This is shortstops, designated hitters, and outfielders. And currently, I guess the only player within shouting distance is still Corbin Carroll. And of course, the injury could impact his availability, obviously, to play in the All-Star game. But regardless of that, I still think it would be a great honor for Corbin to be voted in, and he deserves to be voted in. So make sure you keep voting strong through the finish line tomorrow. Here we have catchers, first baseman, second baseman, and third baseman. And Ketel Marte leads the pack there right now. I think Ayrton, that's close to about 500,000 votes that he leads by, if I'm not mistaken. It looks a little small for me. But yeah, I mean, obviously Ketel Marte is the best second baseman in all of baseball. There's no reason why he shouldn't be starting that game. But let's not vote for him. Let's go vote for him now, even more so. Piece of Yoshi says no one's going to vote for Corbin Carroll for him now. No, we need to go out there and vote for him more, just because. But anyway, we also have to make sure that Ketel Marte gets in. Gino Suarez, like I said, continues to lead RBI or lead the league in RBI. He's up there for third baseman as well, but not at the top. So we need to do everything we can to defeat the Dodgers with the power of friendship. Go vote right now. Go vote for Ketel. Go vote for Gino. Go vote for Corbin Carroll. I know these other guys obviously deserve it, but yeah, Jay Cuddy says shortstop voting is so damn egregious. I agree with that 100%. And of course, I don't know why we still let fans vote. But of course, we've proven in the past that we are not capable of voting for things, right? I think now in the modern day era, comedy is not found as often as we would like it to be. So we have to create our own fun. We have to create our own things that laugh. And that's why we sent Pitbull to a Walmart in Alaska when given the chance to vote for which Walmart Pitbull should perform at. It's the reason why, given the choice to vote for the name of a boat, we decided to name that boat Boaty McBoatface. That's the reason why. These are the reasons why. The Dodgers leading in every category in the All-Star vote. I've given you 3 reasons why people should have voting removed from them, at least when it comes to this kind of stuff. I still believe in political voting. That's very important, though I am a little disenfranchised with that too. Anyway, we love you guys, of course. The Diamondbacks have a big series with the Marlins here back at home. It would be great to see you guys out there. I will be out there on Friday, so make sure to join us. Tomorrow, we will have a 12 p.m. show. We're going to preview that series, talk a little bit more about All-Star voting, and maybe, just maybe, we'll have some news on this House Bill 2704, which we are eagerly waiting for Governor Katie Hobbs to sign. But I want to give a shout out to Ayrton. Great job today. Thank you for your help, for joining us for the first time. Damon decided that the Wildcats are somehow more important than this team. So don't forget, when you really wonder why we lost today, it's because Damon wasn't on the show. That's really, really what it is. Ayrton, I can't tell you enough about how weird it's been about the whole thing that Damon does to this show. It's a very strange effect. He's like a human rabbit's foot. But hey, I appreciate you guys. Where are we at time-wise? Are we good? Yeah, okay, we're good. Let's get out of here. We've talked enough about today's loss, but hopefully tomorrow we'll be a bit more optimistic, talking about the series with the Marlins starting on Friday. So make sure to join us at 12 p.m. For that. Of course, Jesse Friedman will be by. Of course, we're trying to do everything we can to prevent Jesse from impacting this team. So he'll join us tomorrow and give some insight maybe on what's wrong with Zac Gallen some more, and why fans should have All-Star game removed from their voting, or that privilege taken away. But until then, make sure to follow us on Twitter. I'm at @cap_caveman with a K. Ayrton, your Twitter handle?
@Freckled Mamba.
Oh, that's incredible. Oh, see, these other guys with their loser handles, that's how you social media right there. Go follow him at Freckled Mamba. Go follow our show at PHNX_DBacks. But of course, as always, all roads lead to @PHNX_sports on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. We thank you guys for stopping by today. We appreciate your time so much. I love each and every one of you except 2 of you. And I'm going to leave that up to you guys to figure out which 2 of you I'm talking about. Until tomorrow, of course, have a wonderful evening. Behave yourselves. Do something fun to overcome this loss. And remember, kids, baseball is fun, but it's way more fun when Zac Gallen figures out how to be good on the mound once again.
We all silly like the mayor.